So we come to you this morning from under the giant milkwood tree where we spent the night last night. We arrived here pretty early yesterday afternoon after driving probably about 100 kilometers on yesterday's trail, which it was, I think it was about 8.5 hours of driving in total yesterday, so a long day yesterday. And we arrived here to gale force winds, so we didn't really get to rest too much yesterday. It was more just trying to, we were getting sandblasted the whole day, so we spent a lot of yesterday just hunkered down in the rooftop tent, trying to relax. So, today's route is pretty short. It's only 27 kilometers according to Gaia GPS. We're going to be tracking inland, uphill, between the mountains and a dry riverbed, and then we're going to be turning around and coming back down and joining up with the Orange River again, probably 10 to 15 kilometers downriver. So a very short day, and because of that we're taking it really easy this morning. We woke up relatively late, really taking it slow, enjoying the cooler temperatures of the early morning. We'll take it really easy, and eventually we'll slowly start to pack up and head out to our next campsite.
After a very slow and relaxed pack-up, we plan to get on the road, but first we need to top up one of our water tanks, the one that we've been using to take showers. We also use this tank for backup drinking water, and yes, you can drink the river water. In the river rafting trip we did here a few years ago, we just drank straight out of the river, but this time around there seems to be a little bit more sediment in the water. So using a rather crude filtration system of a few brand new dishcloths wrapped around the pump, we started filling the tank, and it actually worked really, really well. We drank this water for the rest of the trip, and it seemed to be completely fine. Eventually we got our butts in gear and hit the road for Rummansdrift. As mentioned earlier, we have a short but very interesting drive today. The first section takes us up a dry riverbed, and at the top we'll be making a bit of a U-turn before heading back down towards the Orange River, just through a different valley. And being a short drive, we want to take our time and soak up everything. At this point in our trip, we start to see mountains with large blackened patches, something that will become more common as we go further west. Apparently this blackening is just caused by intense exposure to the sun for many centuries. We also veered off the road once or twice to just stretch our legs and to hydrate. It's amazing the details that you miss when you just drive past. We took a closer look at this quiver tree and found a bird nest sitting right on top. Probably one of the very few places that you can build a nest. This was the first time on the trail that we came across bad corrugations on the road, and the next couple of days would be particularly rough. This constant rattling can destroy vehicles, and in hindsight I could have probably just aired down a bit more to absorb some of these vibrations. Having now turned around at the halfway point of today's drive, we head downhill towards Rammansdrift, not aware at all that we were about to be left breathless by the beauty of our surroundings. So, Rammansdrift campsite looks amazing. I'm actually really glad we got here early, just considering how this place looks. We've got some water over here we can swim in, we can chill out in. We've got nice grassy patches here, and we've got our vehicle right behind us, and the sun will set that side, which means that the shade will be cast right down here, and that provides us with a nice shady spot to sit on the grass. We can take a nap on the grass if we want. Options are endless, and it looks like we are the only people here, which is what we wanted. So we have this entire place to ourselves, so really excited about that. But it's about lunchtime now, so I think maybe next priority will be having a snack, and then from there we'll decide what to do in the afternoon. Being the self-proclaimed master of all things bacon, I set to work on lunch, which would be very simple bacon rolls. Quick and easy. Trying to always stay grateful. It's the middle of a day on a Tuesday in November. Most people are at work, and we get to do this. I'm very lucky to have a job that's very flexible. So when I get chances to come out like this, I definitely make it count, and I'm definitely try to kind of soak it all in and realize how privileged I am. And this is a good roll. There's one gadget that I forgot to show you in my Hilux build series. It's called the fish washer, and it's quite simple to use. It doesn't require any 12 volt, doesn't require any fittings or anything. Basically, you just take your dirty plates and your dirty cutlery, you put them in the water. Maybe for safekeeping you want to put a rock on top of them. come back in a couple hours and they'll be completely clean. I'm not even joking. That's the way you wash dishes in the Orange River. Put them in the water and the fish will pick them completely clean, and you can just give them a wipe down afterwards. Works every time. Having plenty of time to kill, we did some bird watching, we soaked in the sounds and sights of the river, and we studied some maps to get our bearings for the days of driving to come. We were about to find out that there's a lot more to this place than what meets the eye, and maps can't tell you everything. I couldn't find Nicole for a while, and eventually realized that she'd done some gallivanting up a rock face to take some pictures. At first I was a bit annoyed that she'd risk a climb like this in such a remote place, but when I saw what she found, I forgot all about the risk. Somebody many years ago fired a shot with a .303 British, and knowing that this was a military issue in South Africa at the turn of the 20th century, I did some research on the head stamp and the crimp marks. Turns out that this little case that was found on top of the hill was very likely made by the Birmingham Munitions Company between 1892 and 1918, which would place it around the Boer War and the First World War era. Digging deeper, I came across two stories that just gave me goosebumps. The first is the story of a young soldier killed in 1914, whose grave lies just a few kilometers away. This young soldier wanted to prove a point that his fellow soldiers would run away if under fire, so he climbed up the rocks and fired past them early in the morning to give them a fright. The others, thinking they were under enemy fire, returned shots and killed the young man. Could this be the shot that was fired from the hill? The timeline and the area matches the story. The other possibility is that this was a shot fired during World War I. World War I in Southern Africa? Well, yes. Namibia, on the northern side of the river, was the German territory of Southwest Africa, and South Africa to the south was part of the British Empire. Around this time, there was actually a small town right on the banks on the Namibian side of the river, also called Ramandsdrift, which no longer exists, and a border crossing by pontoon right where we are camping. On the 12th of January 1915, South African forces invaded German Southwest Africa at Ramandsdrift by attacking the police station. The hill on which this case was found would have been the perfect lookout point with a view of the town, and all the evidence is there, from the manufacture date of the case to a few graves at Goodhouse very close to here, which are dated just a couple days after this invasion. How can a place so peaceful have experienced war? It's very hard to imagine. Because the weather's so good tonight, we have opened all our doors and a little skylight, so we'll be getting a view of the stars, and I'd say that's probably going to keep us up late tonight. Completely clear skies for the first time, no wind, so we're going to enjoy tonight, and we're not going to go to bed early. It's not often you get these opportunities, and we are going to soak it in like a sponge.
So tonight we have probably the best weather we've had on this entire trip. It's beautiful, there's absolutely no wind, which is amazing. So we're going to take it quite easy tonight. We're going to maybe do some starters, which we're just doing some boiled potatoes, and then we're going to do some choppies, lamb chops on the braai later. So super keen for that, but yeah, just enjoying and trying to take all this in because it's so beautiful here.
Today was about as perfect a day as you can get. Great weather, scenic drive, and a camp spot all to ourselves in a location steeped in history, from conflict to more than a century of complete silence. And once again, we bring the day to an end with lamb chops over the fire, a fitting finish to the perfect day. Tomorrow, we go again.